I remember the last time I was put into handcuffs, put into the back of a car. Sir, watch your head as you get in. And then there you go, an awkward conversation all the way to the police station, just like this. Let's go. Welcome back to One Sober to Another. I'm Wayne and I'm an alcoholic. Today we're talking about when I got arrested and the last time that I spent my day at the police station. Before we get started, if you haven't taken the time to subscribe, because I noticed that 70% of people who watch One Sober to Another are not subscribed, which is not a bad thing, and that's awesome because that's what this channel is for. But if you subscribe and hit that notification bell as well as give a like, then we can keep all of this in circulation for people who need it. The last time that I was arrested, I can remember just like it was yesterday. I kind of got bamboozled, at least that's how I feel about the whole situation. Now I know as an alcoholic and a recovering alcoholic in retrospect, it was all my fault, but at the time, I got kind of set up. So I was told to come in and that I had to provide a blood test and to go do a breathalyzer because maybe they thought I was drunk. I said, no, that's not the case. And they said, look, it's not going to count against anything. We just got to take you. They took me to the military police station. And I'm not giving up who they are, but so they took me there. They made me take a breathalyzer and I blew at a pretty elevated level. And then I was quickly put into handcuffs. That was a pretty sombering moment. My hands were placed behind my back. The cold steel went on my wrist. They locked. They put one finger in between to make sure that it was not too tight. I mean, I guess that's respectable. And then I was taken out to the police car. When I was taken out to the police car, I had the privilege of, being guided into the back seat because that's always awesome. That was an embarrassing moment, and it was in front of a lot of people that worked for me, which I thought was really a setup and that it should have never happened to me. But at the time, I didn't even realize it was because I decided I was going to drink all the night before and go crash a car. Totally forgot I crashed the car. Who knew? Also, I got a little distracted. That was funny. Are you still recording? Oh, go away. I love you, son. So, where was I? So I got arrested and, I was put into the police car. I was taken to the police station. As I did the walk of fame, as I saw it at that point in time, I was guided in, and it was instant dignity gone away. I went through the booking process and all that stuff, fingerprints and, make sure I didn't have anything illegal on me. All my stuff was taken away. I was put into the shackles. I was put into a holding cell. And it was a horrible, horrible experience. And then I just passed out on a very rigid surface, and I probably didn't wake up for about 18 hours. When I did wake up, that's when realism really set in. It occurred to me that I was in jail, and I was like, holy shit, I'm in jail, and all of my dignity is gone, every bit of it. And from that point, how do you think much of yourself? And that's where it's really hard to get away from all that. So I got booked and everything else, and now this is on my record, and I'm really frustrated and I'm confused and I'm not drunk anymore. And it's just, that was the end of my world at the moment. And obviously it's not, because I'm not in jail right now. So the last time that I actually spent the day at a police station was pretty awesome, believe it or not. Excuse me. I had actually lost my license plate. I think I was off-roading, and it either jumped off or, you know, it popped off when I was just romping through the mud and everything. And so I had to go get a new license plate. I went to the police station. You have to file a police report and all this other stuff, so, you know, they can make it legit and they can track that plate just in case it's used illegally and everything else. So I went to the police station, and I immediately had that same feeling set in, to where I was like, F, am I in trouble? You know, even though I voluntarily went there to do this report. This was just last week. And so I went in. I went to a window. The window was blacked out, and there was a phone next to it. It had 2 phone numbers on it, and it said, call this if you need assistance. So I picked up the phone. I dialed the phone number. The first one didn't work. I dialed the second. An officer picked up. She said, state your business. I stated my business. Then she said, look to your right. I had to look to my right. A whole set of instructions coming back to me. And then she said, do you see that waiting room? I said, yes, I do. She said, okay, now you just have to drop your ID card into the black box. The black box was off to my left. The waiting room was off to the right. So I dropped my ID card into the black box as instructed, and I did a right face and waited in the waiting area until I was called. Another officer came about 15 minutes later and said, Mr. D? I was like, yes. He said, you're gonna have to come with me. I've heard that before. I'm sure some of you have. So I followed the officer down the hallway. When I followed the officer, there was a line on the floor, and I walked that line just as instructed. And then he showed me into an interview room, which was very sterile, by the way. There was nothing there, just like times past. And I didn't want to go in there. I said, is there somewhere else that we can do this? And he's like, why? And so I said, look, I'm just not really comfortable in small spaces. Perhaps maybe we can do it somewhere else. And he looked at me kind of funny, and I guess he could tell that, you know, maybe I was arrested in the past. And so he's like, nope, this is standard procedure, which I also heard before. He said, we're going to do this in here. And I said, okay. So we went into the interview room. He had me sit in the corner that had a wall against the back of it, and he sat more towards the door, just like before. He passes me a piece of paper. He says, I'm going to need you to write down everything that occurred, the who, what, where, when, why, as well as, before we start, you're going to have to give me some information so that we can, you know, ensure you are who you say you are, just like before. So we went through this interview process probably for about, I don't know, an hour. And then I filled out my statement. My statement had the who, what, where, when, why of how I lost my license plate, but it sure felt like I was being interrogated. So all these feelings rushed back, and then it occurred to me, I'm sober. I have nothing to worry about here. And even on the form it said, this certifies that you are not making a false statement under oath and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wow, I am not making a false statement under oath. This is a good day. And the officer had, you know, no creepy intentions toward me. He had no inkling of I was lying to him. And it was so absurd and so surreal that I was sitting in this interview room and I wasn't in trouble this time. All because I am sober today. I don't have anything to worry about like that. And I will tell the truth regardless of how it makes somebody feel. It's really what this video is about. I spent the entire day in a place where in my past history, if I went there, that meant that I was either going to jail or I was in some serious hurt. Feel me? So what are your comments, and when was the last time that you had something happen to you that you were like, wow, I'm absolutely glad I'm not drunk right now, or I'm glad I'm sober right now, because if I wasn't, this would be entirely different. That's what that was for me, folks. And I just wanted to share that with you because I thought it was so amazing that I was not in any kind of trouble whatsoever. But those places and those events still made me feel like I did back when I was in my active disease. I'm no longer in it, people, and one sober to another, I gotta tell you, is freaking amazing to go to a police station and have nothing to worry about. That's today's food for thought. I hope you enjoyed it. One sober to another. Guess what, folks? Oh, snap. I did get the stickers, and I said in today's daily reflections that I'm gonna tell you how to get yours. It is no long string theory of what you have to do. There's 2 things you gotta do. For the first 5 people in the next 2 weeks who subscribe, even if you're a current subscriber, but subscribe and hit the notification bell on my channel, as well as drop a like. And the last thing is to write hashtag one sober to another in the comment section, okay? For the first 5 folks that do that, I will I guess shoot you an email, or you shoot me an email or a DM, either on my Instagram at one sober to another, or even Twitter or Reddit, whichever. All those are in the link below. And if any of you guys need help with anything, what I meant to say with that, I'm an alcoholic, I ramble. What I meant to say with that is that shoot me your address, and I will make sure you get your big sticker, one sober to another, okay? They're pretty awesome. Let's see, last thing, if you need help or you need someone to reach out to, you can hit me up at one sober to another on Instagram, Twitter, or Reddit, as well as I'm on Facebook too. Reach out, because that's the way we get help, folks. You can't do it alone. You can try, but in my experience, you know, support is there. All you have to do is reach out, and we'll help each other get through it, you know what I mean? And there are links below if you need immediate help. Daggone, that's what I'm here for. One sober to another. You guys have a fantastic day. See ya.